What is up, investors? Happy Friday and welcome back to In the Green with Charlie. Today I've got a great guest, an Irish investor, Noah Morgan-Doyle. He explains how the Investor app got him into the stock market and what he has learned since.
Making money, making moves, machines with tools and drills, making grooves, missions impossible.
Hey Noah, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm fantastic. So could you just start by briefly introducing yourself to the investor community?
Hi, I'm Noah. I'm known as Noah Morgan-Doyle on the app, and I've been on the app for just under a year. And yeah, I've placed in the XTREME League and what used to be just one league before. And yeah,
Awesome. And Noah, where are you from and how old are you?
I'm from Dublin, Ireland, and I'm 15 years old.
Very cool. So what was your first experience ever with the stock market?
So my first experience ever with the stock market was actually Invstr. I went down to a friend's house and he just showed me this app and he was like, hey, this looks pretty cool. Do you want to do it? That was back in November. And just really ever since then, I've kind of just gotten really into it. Like I always thought it would be something that I'd love to do. So when I saw this app, I just gave it a go and it was the one for me. So
What was your experience like in that first month on the app? How did it go?
well, my first day actually, I used up all of my 100 trades instantly. Um, because I thought trading was this kind of thing where you would trade just for a couple of minutes. So I used up all my trades and I had to build them back up, getting 4 a day. So my first experience was, you know, I had to hold stocks for longer and I had to see if they would work out. And I had limited success at the start. I went into negative numbers quite often and I didn't really pick stocks that were the best. But, I learned and I gained experience from it.
Did you finish that first day? Were you trading like every few minutes up or down?
I finished the first day around literally nearly break even. I think it was 0.07% up, but really not a lot.
So what is your strategy like now? How would you describe your strategy and how you've grown since that first experience?
Well, first of all, I kind of gained the experience just through using Invstr. I found a couple of places to get research from. So I watched CNBC Daily, their Fast Money podcast as well. I also listen to the Invstr podcast. And my strategy now is to hold stocks that are good momentum stocks and that have good good earnings, good ESPs, all that.
Gotcha. And so when you're watching these shows and listening to these podcasts, what type of news are you looking for when you're judging what's a good momentum stock?
Well, first of all, I'm looking at technical charts. Sometimes I use a bit of fundamentals and a bit of technicals. What I'll usually look at the previous 4 quarters and how their earnings are doing and if their stock has been consistently rising. Also, if I see that their stock was valued extremely highly a good 6 years ago or 5 years ago on the chart, I'll also be more inclined to buy them because it means that they have a better chance of reaching higher numbers.
Have you reached out to communicate with any other people who are young high school age investors like yourself on the app?
Yeah, well, actually, when I was kind of battling it out for the XTREME League title, I was talking to Kieran Chu, I think that's how you pronounce his name, quite a lot actually. We would talk about like what stocks are, popping and which ones are dropping and all that. And I also talk a bit to investor my name and also just some of my friends on the app, like Ringo Stalin.
Is there one or two trades you are particularly proud of that you've had in your investor career?
Yeah, there's definitely a few that like I've really been proud of. One of them, which was probably one of my favorites, was when oil was dropping past zero, and I managed to catch the Oil dropped to about $0.05, and I managed to catch it. It went back up to 28 cents, so I made loads of money off that. And then also Blue Apron went up 150%, and I managed to also catch that one.
That's awesome. So what type of research went into catching that Blue Apron trade?
Blue Apron, I had seen that their stock had been rising. It went from around €2. Also, I looked at the company, and the company mainly did delivery meals. So I kind of thought, we're in this pandemic. People can't go out for dinner, so they're probably going to deliver. So based off of that, also the rising price. And finally, I looked around at some estimates for what their price would be, and a couple of them were saying outperform and stuff like that. So I decided to go in on them.
That's awesome. That's great that you're so successful with that trade. So one of my favorite things about Invstr is the ability to learn from other people in the community. You talked about some of the younger people you communicate with, but who are some other members of the Invstr community that you have learned a lot from?
Well, for starters, I can say that Hunter Berg has really been one of the best for me. He's been on the app for so long, and his daily kind of notes are really helpful for deciding, if a stock is going to do well. Also, I think Thomas Quinlan always puts up earnings, and he also has some good insights. And I would say recently Mo Mohammed has been quite good in sharing his beliefs on like what stocks are going to do well, and not even that, but just why they're going to do well as well, which I find very helpful.
Gotcha. So you're already super involved and knowledgeable about the stock market for a 15-year-old. Are you interested in pursuing a career in finance?
Yeah, definitely. I really love finance. It's always been one of my favorite things to do in school, business studies. But yeah, I really do like stocks, and I'm really interested in pursuing it as a career, to be honest.
That's exciting. If you could go to any university in the world, where would you go?
Oh, I don't know. There's a lot, see, I also like maths, so I'd have to say probably MIT, just because I love their Sloan School of Business, and also they have a very good maths undergraduate. So
awesome. Well, best of luck to you. That's not an easy feat, but if you're anywhere near as successful an Invstr as you are in the college application process, I'm sure you got it. Thank you, Noah, for coming on In the Green today. You were a pleasure to speak to.
Thank you, Charlie.
Making money, making moves, machines with tools and drills, making grooves, missions impossible.
I am not a financial advisor, and my comments should never be taken as financial advice. Investments come with risk, so always do your research and analysis beforehand.